Her stepdad blocked the door, but her Korean Mafia biological father just arrived. The rain fell hard against the cracked windows of the small apartment, tapping like nervous fingers against the glass. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Nao sat on the edge of the old couch, her fingers trembling as she clutched the sleeves of her oversized sweater. The room smelled of alcohol and cigarette smoke, and every sound from the hallway made her heart pound harder. Welcome to another episode of Air Nero Romance. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next romance story. Across the room stood the man she had been forced to call Dad for the past 10 years. But he was not her father, her stepdad, and tonight he was drunk again. His large body leaned against the door, blocking the only exit from the apartment. The chain lock rattled softly each time the wind outside shook the door frame. "You're not going anywhere," he slurred, pointing a shaking finger at her. "You think you can just run away from me? After everything I've done for you?" Nao swallowed hard. Her throat felt dry. I just want to go outside," she whispered. His eyes narrowed. Outside meant freedom. Outside meant escape. And he knew it. "You're staying right here," he growled. He stepped closer. Nao instinctively moved back, her shoulder hitting the wall. The cold paint pressed against her skin through the sweater. Fear crawled through her chest. Her mother was working the night shift again. That meant no one would be home until morning. Just her and him. Her stepdad dragged a chair and slammed it in front of the door. "Sit down," he said harshly. Nao obeyed slowly, her heart racing. She stared at the floor, but her mind was somewhere else. 3 days ago, that strange message. An unknown number had sent only one sentence. "I'm coming for you." She didn't know why, but the message made her heart feel strange. Not scared. Hopeful. Her stepdad lit another cigarette and walked toward the kitchen, leaving the door still blocked by the chair. Nao exhaled quietly. The rain grew louder outside. Thunder rolled across the sky. Then suddenly, bang! Someone knocked on the door. Hard. Her stepdad froze in the kitchen doorway. Nao's eyes widened. Another knock. Bang, bang, bang. Her stepdad frowned. Who the hell is knocking at this hour? He walked toward the door slowly. Nao's stomach twisted. Something about the knock felt different, heavy, powerful. Her stepdad yanked the door open halfway. "What are you?" He stopped speaking. Completely. His face turned pale. Standing in the hallway was a tall man dressed in a long black coat. Rain dripped from his shoulders, and behind him stood 4 men in dark suits, silent, watching. The tall man's sharp eyes scanned the apartment calmly. Then they landed on Nao. For a moment, everything went quiet. The world felt like it stopped breathing. Nao looked at him, confused. She had never seen this man before, but something about him felt familiar. The man stepped forward. Her stepdad quickly tried to block the doorway. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded. The stranger didn't answer immediately. Instead, he slowly removed his black gloves. His voice, when he finally spoke, was calm and cold. "I'm here for my daughter." Nao blinked. Her stepdad laughed loudly. "Your daughter? You must be crazy. There's no—" The stranger's eyes hardened. "Nao." He said her name. Perfectly. Nao's heart skipped. "How? Do you know my name?" she whispered. The man stepped fully inside the apartment. The 4 men behind him remained outside like silent shadows. Her stepdad shoved him roughly. "Get out of my house." The stranger barely moved. Instead, his gaze slowly shifted back to Nao. His expression softened slightly. "Come here," he said quietly. Nao didn't move. She felt frozen. "Who are you?" she asked. The man reached into his coat and pulled out an old photograph. He placed it gently on the table. Nao walked closer. Her breath caught. It was a photo of a young woman holding a baby, her mother, and the baby was her. Nao's eyes widened. She looked up slowly. The man's voice was low. "I'm your father." Silence filled the room. Her stepdad exploded with anger. "That's impossible," he shouted. "Her father left years ago." The man turned his head slightly toward him. His expression became cold again. "I didn't leave." His voice dropped dangerously. I was taken. Neoa's chest tightened. What do you mean? She whispered. Before he could answer, her stepdad grabbed a broken bottle from the table. Both of you get out, he yelled. He swung the bottle toward the stranger, but the movement never finished. In one lightning-fast motion, the man grabbed his wrist and twisted. The bottle crashed to the floor. Her stepdad screamed in pain as he dropped to his knees. The stranger leaned down slightly. His voice was quiet. Deadly. You locked my daughter inside this house. Neoa's heart pounded violently. The man standing before her no longer looked calm. He looked like something far more dangerous. Her stepdad struggled. You think you scare me? The stranger finally smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. No, he said softly. I know I do. He released the man's arm. Her stepdad tried to stand again. Then the stranger spoke one name quietly toward the door. Bring him outside. Two of the men in suits immediately entered. Within seconds, they dragged her stepdad out of the apartment while he shouted and cursed. The hallway fell silent again. Neo stood frozen, her entire body shaking. The tall man turned back toward her slowly. For the first time, his expression looked uncertain, like he didn't know what to say. Neo, he said softly. She stared at him. You said you're my father. He nodded. My name is Kong Jamin. Neo repeated it quietly. Kong Jamin. The name fell heavy. Important. She looked down at the photograph again, then back at him. Why did you come now? She asked. A shadow passed across his face. Because I just found you. Neo's eyes widened. What? He walked slowly toward the window, watching the rain fall. For 10 years, he said quietly, I searched for you. Neo's voice trembled. Why? He turned to face her, and for the first time she noticed something shocking. His eyes looked just like hers, dark, sharp, and full of something deep, because, he said slowly, you're my only family. Neo felt tears sting her eyes. Everything she thought she knew about her life suddenly felt like it was breaking apart. You're really my father? He nodded once. Yes. The hallway outside remained silent, but far below on the street, black cars waited. Many of them. Men stood beside the vehicles like guards. Neo glanced outside the window. Why are there so many people? She asked. Her father followed her gaze. Then he answered calmly. They work for me. Neo looked confused. What do you do? For a moment he said nothing. Then he spoke the truth. I run an organization. What kind? He met her eyes. The kind people fear. Neo's heart skipped. She slowly realized something. You mean? He finished the sentence for her. Yes. His voice was calm. I'm the head of one of the largest Korean Mafia families. The room felt smaller. The rain outside grew louder. Neo's mind spun. Her stepdad shouting could still be heard faintly from outside the building. But suddenly, she didn't feel afraid anymore, because the man standing before her, the dangerous man feared by so many, looked at her like she was the most important thing in the world. He stepped closer and gently placed his coat around her shoulders. You're cold, he said quietly. Neo's voice came out small. Are you going to take me away? He nodded slowly. Yes. Where? His answer was simple. Home. And for the first time in her life, Neo wondered if she was finally about to discover where she truly belonged. Outside, the black cars waited in the rain, and the Korean Mafia boss, who ruled them all, had finally found his daughter. The rain continued to pour outside the apartment building, washing the dark streets in silver streaks of light. Neo stood near the window, her father's long black coat wrapped around her shoulders. It was heavy and warm, and it smelled faintly of cologne and rain. Everything that had happened in the last 10 minutes felt unreal. Her biological father, a powerful man, a mafia boss, and he had come for her. Outside, the black cars waited patiently, their headlights glowing through the rain like silent guardians. Neo slowly turned back to the tall man, standing in the middle of the living room. Her father, Kong Jimin, watched her carefully, like someone afraid she might disappear if he looked away for even a second. For 10 years he had searched. 10 years of empty leads. 10 years of regret. And now she was standing right in front of him, small, shaking, but alive. Neo spoke quietly. You really looked for me all this time? His jaw tightened slightly. Yes. Why didn't you find me sooner? A shadow passed across his eyes. Because someone made sure I couldn't. Neo frowned. What do you mean? Before he could answer, the door opened again and one of the men in suits stepped inside. He bowed slightly. Boss. His voice was respectful but urgent. The stepfather has been restrained. What should we do with him? Neo froze. Her stomach twisted. She wasn't sure why, but the way the man asked the question made her uneasy. Kong Jae-min didn't answer immediately. His eyes slowly shifted toward Neo. He spoke calmly. Wait outside. The man nodded and left the apartment again. The door closed. Silence returned. Neo hugged the coat tighter around her body. What are they going to do to him? She asked carefully. Her father studied her face for a moment. Then he spoke honestly. That depends. On what? On you. Neo blinked. Me? Yes. His voice softened slightly. If you want him gone forever, that can be arranged. Her heart skipped. She had spent years afraid of that man. Years of shouting. Years of insults. Years of doors being slammed. But hearing those words still made her chest feel heavy. She looked down at the floor. I don't want him to hurt anyone anymore, she whispered. Her father nodded slowly. That's enough. He walked toward the door. When he opened it, two of the suited men immediately stood straight. Take him away, Kong Jae-min said calmly. The men nodded. No shouting, no violence, just quiet obedience. Neo realized something terrifying in that moment. When her father spoke, people listened. Immediately, the door closed again. Neo suddenly felt very small in the quiet apartment. Kong Jae-min turned back toward her. You won't have to see him again. Neo didn't respond right away. Instead, she asked something else. Why did my mom never tell me about you? That question made him pause. For a long moment, he didn't speak. Then he slowly walked to the table and picked up the photograph again. I met your mother 20 years ago, he said quietly. Neo listened carefully. I wasn't the man I am now. What do you mean? I wasn't the boss yet. His eyes moved the window. I was just the son of one. Neo's eyes widened slightly. My father controlled the organization before me, he continued. But our enemies were always watching. He placed the photograph down. When your mother became pregnant with you, she became a target. Neo felt a chill. So you left? He shook his head. No. His voice grew darker. I was kidnapped. Neo's breath caught. What? Our rivals captured me. They kept me locked away for years while they tried to take control of the organization. Her mind struggled to process the story. But how did you get free? He looked at her. I escaped. And then I returned and took back what belonged to my family. Neo could feel the weight behind those words. The kind of things he must have done to reclaim power. But by the time I found your mother again, he stopped speaking. Neo's chest tightened. What happened? His voice was quiet. She was gone. Neo's eyes filled with tears. Gone. She had moved away. No address. No records. He exhaled slowly. I searched everywhere. The room felt heavy with emotion. Neo whispered, and then, 2 months ago, he said, one of my investigators finally found your name. Neo wiped her eyes. So you came here? Yes. His voice softened. I came for my daughter. Neo felt something inside her chest break and heal at the same time. For years, she had believed her father abandoned her. But the truth was completely different. Suddenly, the door opened again. A younger man in a black suit stepped inside. He looked barely older than 30. Sharp eyes, neatly styled hair. He bowed respectfully. Boss! Kong Jae-min nodded slightly. What is it, Min-suk? The house is ready. Neo frowned. House? Min-suk smiled gently at her. Yes. He gestured toward the window. Outside, several black cars waited. Your new home. Neo looked at her father nervously. Your house. Kong Jamin nodded. Yes. Where is it? Not far. She hesitated. What about my mom? His expression softened again. We will find her. Those words gave Neo a small spark of hope. Her father extended his hand. Come with me? Neo stared at his hand. It was large, strong, the hand of a man who ruled an entire underworld. But right now, it was simply a father asking his daughter to trust him. Slowly, she reached out. Her fingers touched his. His hand closed gently around hers. Warm, protective. They walked out of the apartment together. The hallway was quiet. The rain outside was still falling. As they stepped outside the building, Neo froze. More than 10 men in black suits stood beside the cars. They all bowed the moment Kong Jimin appeared. Boss! Neo's eyes widened. She had never seen anything like it. Her father opened the door of the largest car. Get in. Neo sat inside slowly. The seats were soft leather. The car smelled new and expensive. Her father sat beside her. The door closed. The convoy of black cars began moving through the rainy streets. Neo looked out the window quietly. After a while, she spoke again. Dad. The word slipped out before she could stop it. Kong Jae-min turned toward her. His expression softened in a way no one else had probably ever seen. Yes. She asked the question that had been bothering her. Are people going to try to hurt me because of who you are? He didn't hesitate. Yes. Her stomach dropped. But, he continued calmly, they will never reach you. Neo looked at him. Why? His voice became cold and certain. Because anyone who touches my daughter, the car lights reflected in his sharp eyes, will disappear. The convoy drove through the city until the tall buildings slowly turned into quiet hills. Finally, the car stopped in front of massive iron gates. The gates slowly opened. Beyond them stood a huge mansion surrounded by tall trees and security lights. Neo stared in shock. This is your house? Kong Jae-min nodded. This is our house. The car rolled up the long driveway. As they stepped out, dozens of staff members lined the entrance. They bowed respectfully. Welcome home, boss. Neo stood beside him, overwhelmed. Her life had changed in one single night. From a small, broken apartment to a mansion guarded by the most powerful mafia boss in Korea. Kong Jae-min placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Neo. She looked up at him. This is only the beginning. Inside the mansion, a new life waited, but far away in the shadows of the city. Someone had already heard the news. The mafia boss had found his daughter, and that news was about to start a war. The massive iron gates closed slowly behind a convoy of black cars. Neo stood at the entrance of the mansion, staring up at the enormous building. Soft golden lights glowed from the tall windows, and rainwater slid down the marble steps like tiny rivers. She had never seen a place like this before. It didn't feel like a house. It felt like a palace. Dozens of staff members stood in 2 neat lines at the entrance. Some wore black suits like the guards. Others wore elegant uniforms. All of them bowed the moment Kong Jae-min stepped forward. Welcome home, boss. Neo shifted nervously beside him. She wasn't used to this kind of attention. Her father noticed immediately. His voice was calm. Everyone, this is my daughter. The entire line of staff straightened instantly. Then they bowed again, this time toward her. Welcome home, Miss Neo. Neo's eyes widened. Miss Neo. No one had ever called her that before. Her father gently guided her inside the mansion. The moment the doors opened, warm air wrapped around them. The entrance hall was enormous, with shining marble floors and a crystal chandelier hanging high above. Neo looked around in amazement. This place is huge, she whispered. Kong Jae-min allowed a small smile. You'll get used to it. A middle-aged woman in a neat uniform approached and bowed respectfully. Boss! This is Mrs. Han, Kong Jae-min said to Neo. She manages the house. Mrs. Han's eyes softened kindly. It's an honor to meet you, Miss Neo. Neo nodded shyly. Mrs. Han gestured toward the grand staircase. Your room has already been prepared. Neo blinked. My room. Her father nodded. Yes. They walked up the wide staircase together. The The carpet felt soft under his shoes, and paintings lined the walls, old landscapes and portraits that looked expensive. At the end of the hallway, Mrs. Han opened a large wooden door. Neo stepped inside. Her mouth slowly fell open. The room was bigger than the entire apartment she had lived in. A king-size bed sat in the center with white sheets. A huge window overlooked the forest outside, and a balcony stretched across the side of the room. There was even a small sitting area with couches and a bookshelf. Neo turned around slowly. "This is mine." Kong Jae-min nodded. "Yes." She walked to the window, touching the glass gently. "I've never had a room this big before." Her father leaned against the doorway quietly, watching her take everything in. For a moment, the powerful Mafia boss didn't look like a feared leader. He looked like a man simply relieved that his daughter was safe. Mrs. Han spoke gently. "If you need anything, Miss Neo, you only have to ask." Neo nodded politely. "Thank you." Mrs. Han bowed once more and left the room. The door closed softly. Now it was just Neo and her father. The silence felt different, more personal. Neo sat carefully on the edge of the bed. "You really searched for me for 10 years? Kong Jae-min walked slowly toward the window. "Yes." "Did you ever think you wouldn't find me?" He looked out at the dark forest beyond the gates. "No." Neo tilted her head. "Why?" His answer came without hesitation. "Because you're mine." Those simple words carried a strange warmth. Neo lowered her eyes slightly. After a moment, she asked quietly, "Will I have to leave my school?" Her father turned back to her. "No." Her shoulders relaxed a little. "You can continue your life as normal," he said, "but you will have protection." "Protection?" "Yes." He gestured toward the window. Outside, security lights illuminated several guards walking the property. "No one enters these gates without my permission." Neo watched the guards silently. Then she asked another question. "Are you always as powerful?" Kong Jae-min raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "People bow when you walk in. Everyone listens to you." She hesitated. "Are you scary?" For a moment he said nothing. Then he answered honestly. "To some people." Neo studied his face. "But not to me." His expression softened again. "Never." She nodded slowly. Just then, a sharp knock echoed on the door. Kong Jae-min's expression changed instantly. "Serious." "Come in." The door opened and Min Suk stepped inside again. His face looked tense. "Boss, we have a problem." Neo noticed a sudden shift in the room. Her father's voice turned cold. "What is it?" Min Suk glanced briefly at Neo, then spoke carefully. "Our informants confirmed it." "Confirmed what?" Min Suk took a breath. "The Black Viper organization knows about Miss Neo." Neo frowned. "Black Viper?" Kong Jae-min's jaw tightened. It was the name of his most dangerous rival. The same group that had kidnapped him years ago. "How?" he asked quietly. Min Suk shook his head. "We're still investigating. But their leader has already issued an order." The room felt colder. "What order?" Min Suk hesitated for half a second. Then he said the words. "They want your daughter." Neo's stomach dropped. "What?" Kong Jae-min's eyes darkened instantly. The air around him felt dangerous. "Why?" Neo whispered. Min Suk answered. "They believe taking you would weaken the boss." Silence filled the room. Neo suddenly understood something terrifying. She wasn't just someone's daughter now. She was a target. Her father walked slowly toward the door. His voice was calm, but filled with quiet fury. "Double the guards." Min Suk nodded immediately. "Yes, boss." "Lock down the property." "Yes, boss." Min Suk turned and hurried out of the room. The door closed again. Neo looked up at her father. "Are they really going to come here?" Kong Jae-min walked back toward her. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. His voice was steady. "They can try. But what if—" He interrupted softly. "No one will take you." Neo looked at him, searching his face. "Promise?" His answer came without hesitation. "I promise." Outside the mansion, the rain finally began to slow. But deep in the shadows of the city, far from the quiet forest, inside a dark office filled with smoke, a man sat behind a desk watching a photo. The photo of Neo. A cruel smile slowly spread across his face. If Kang Jae-min wants a war, he tapped the photograph with one finger. His daughter will start it. And at that moment, the most powerful Mafia war in years was about to begin. The mansion had grown quiet. Rain tapped softly against the tall windows as the night deepened, and the long hallways were filled only with the distant footsteps of guards patrolling the property. Neo sat on the edge of her bed, still awake. Everything that had happened tonight kept replaying in her mind. The apartment, her stepdad blocking the door, the loud knock, and the tall man who walked in like a storm. Her father, Kang Jae-min. She stood up and walked slowly toward the balcony. When she pushed the glass door open, cool night air brushed across her face. Outside, security lights illuminated the large garden. Guards moved carefully across the property, checking every corner. For the first time in her life, Neo realized something strange. She felt safe, but she also felt like she had stepped into a very dangerous world. Behind her, the bedroom door opened quietly. Still awake? She turned. Her father stood there, wearing a dark shirt now instead of his coat. His expression softened when he saw her. "Sorry," Neo said quickly. "I didn't mean to stay up." "You don't need to apologize." He stepped onto the balcony beside her. For a moment, they both watched the quiet night together. Neo spoke first. "Did you really build all of this?" He nodded. "Yes." "By yourself?" "Not exactly." He leaned his arms against the balcony railing. "My father started the organization. When he died, I inherited it." Neo tilted her head slightly. "But you made it bigger, right?" A small smile touched his lips. "You're very observant." She shrugged. "I noticed everyone listens to you." He looked out at the trees surrounding the mansion. "In my world, respect keeps people alive." Neo didn't fully understand, but she could feel the weight behind those words. After a moment, she asked quietly, "Are you worried about those people, the Black Vipers?" Kang Jae-min's expression grew serious again. "They're dangerous." Neo felt a small knot form in her stomach. "Because of me?" He turned toward her immediately. "No." His voice was firm. "This war existed long before you." "But they want me." "Yes." Neo stared at the garden below. "What if they come here?" He answered calmly. "They won't succeed." "How can you be so sure?" His eyes hardened slightly. "Because I won't let them." Before she could respond, footsteps approached down the hallway. Min Suk appeared in the doorway again. "Boss!" Kang Jae-min turned toward him. "What is it?" Min Suk looked serious. "We caught someone near the outer gate." Neo's heart skipped. "Someone?" "Yes." Min Suk stepped closer. "One of the Black Viper scouts." The air instantly became tense. "What did he say?" Kang Jae-min asked. Min Suk hesitated. "He said their leader already knows Miss Neo is here." Neo's fingers tightened on the balcony railing. "How?" Min Suk shook his head. "We don't know yet." Kang Jae-min's eyes darkened. "Bring him in." Min Suk nodded and disappeared down the hallway. Neo looked at her father nervously. "You're going to question him?" "Yes." "Can I watch?" Kang Jae-min studied her carefully. Most fathers would say no immediately, but Neo wasn't an ordinary girl anymore. Her life had changed the moment she stepped into this house. "You should understand the world you're part of now," he said quietly. Neo nodded. "Then come with me." They walked down the long hallway together. Guards stood outside a heavy door at the end. The moment Kang Jae-min approached, they stepped aside. Inside the room sat a man tied to a chair. His face was bruised, and his clothes were soaked from rain. He looked up when the door opened. The moment he saw Kang Jae-min, fear flashed across his face. "Boss," one of the guards said. "We found him hiding near the forest fence." Kang Jae-min walked slowly toward the prisoner. Neo stood near the wall, watching nervously. The man tried to act brave. "You can kill me," he sneered, "but it won't change anything." Kang Jae-min's voice was calm. "I'm not interested in killing you." The prisoner looked confused. "Then why am I here?" Kang Jae-min leaned slightly forward. "To send a message." The man swallowed. "What message?" Kang Jae-min gestured toward Neo. This is my daughter. The prisoner turned his head and looked at her. His eyes widened slightly. So the rumors are true. Kang Jae-min's voice dropped lower. You will go back to your leader and tell him what? The Mafia boss straightened. Tell him this. The room went silent. If he even thinks about touching her, his voice became deadly cold. I will erase every member of the Black Viper organization. Even the guards shifted slightly at the intensity of those words. The prisoner laughed nervously. You think you can destroy us? Kang Jae-min smiled faintly, but there was nothing friendly about it. I already destroyed your last leader. The prisoner's laughter stopped immediately. Kang Jae-min nodded toward the guards. Release him. The guards untied the man. The prisoner looked shocked. You're letting me go? Yes. Why? Kang Jae-min turned away calmly. Because fear spreads faster than corpses. The guards dragged the man out of the room. The door closed. Neo exhaled slowly. Her heart was still racing. That was intense. Kang Jae-min glanced at her. Are you scared? Neo thought about it for a moment. Then she shook her head. No. Why not? She looked at him. Because you're on my side. For a second, the powerful Mafia boss looked almost amused. You're right. Min-suk spoke again. Boss, should we prepare the defensive teams? Yes. Min-suk nodded. Understood. He left the room quickly. Neo looked at her father. So the war is really coming? Kang Jae-min placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. It already started. Outside the mansion, the captured scout was pushed into a car and driven away. As the car sped back toward the city, the man's hands trembled. He knew one thing for certain. When he delivered the message, his boss would understand. Kang Jae-min was ready for war. And this time, he was fighting for something far more dangerous than power. He was fighting for his daughter. The night slowly passed, but sleep did not come easily to Neo. After the interrogation room incident, the mansion had grown even more alert. Guards moved more frequently through the halls, and security lights outside illuminated every corner of the massive property. Neo lay on her bed staring at the ceiling. Everything had changed in less than 24 hours. Yesterday, she was trapped in a small apartment with a stepfather who scared her. Today, she was living in a guarded mansion with a powerful father people feared. And somewhere in the city, dangerous people were talking about her. Finally, exhaustion pulled her into sleep. Morning arrived quietly. Soft sunlight filtered through the tall curtains in Neo's room. Birds chirped in the trees surrounding the estate, making the place feel peaceful, almost normal. Neo slowly opened her eyes. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she saw the enormous room again. Oh, right, she whispered. She sat up and looked out the window. Guards were still patrolling the garden. But something else caught her attention. 3 black cars were parked near the front entrance, and several men in suits stood beside them. Something important was happening. A knock came gently on the door. Miss Neo? Mrs. Han's warm voice called. Come in, Neo replied. The door opened, and Mrs. Han stepped inside with a friendly smile. Good morning. I hope you slept well. A little, Neo admitted. Mrs. Han placed a tray of breakfast on the small table near the window. I brought you some food. You must be hungry. Neo realized she actually was. She sat down and began eating quietly. After a moment, she asked, Where's my dad? Mrs. Han paused slightly. He is in a meeting. With who? Some important guests. Neo glanced out the window again at the black cars. About the Black Vipers? Mrs. Han didn't answer directly, but the look in her eyes said enough. Yes. Downstairs in the mansion's main office, the atmosphere was tense. Kang Jae-min sat behind a large wooden desk. Across from him were 5 men in suits. Each one controlled a different part of the organization. Min-suk stood beside the desk, holding a folder of reports. The scout returned to their base last night. Min-suk said, And? Kang Jae-min asked. Our informants say their leader is furious. One of the older men sitting at the table spoke. Boss, the Black Vipers have been waiting for a chance to challenge us. Another added, and now they think they have leverage. Kong Jae-min's expression remained calm. They think my daughter is a weakness. The room fell silent. Min Suk closed the folder. They are gathering fighters. How many? Kong Jae-min asked. Possibly over 200. Another man leaned forward. That's enough for a direct attack. Min Suk nodded. They may try to hit the mansion. Kong Jae-min stood up slowly. His voice was steady. They won't. The men looked at him. I'm ending this before they get the chance. Min Suk frowned slightly. You're planning to strike first? Yes. One of the advisors looked concerned. That could start a full war. Kong Jae-min's eyes turned cold. It already has. Upstairs, Neo finished her breakfast and walked out into the hallway. She wanted to explore the mansion a little. The place felt like a maze of beautiful rooms and long corridors. As she walked down the stairs, she heard voices coming from the office. She didn't mean to listen, but one word caught her attention. Attack. She froze. The door to the office was slightly open. Inside, she could see her father and several men standing around a large map on the table. Min Suk pointed at a location in the city. Their headquarters is here. Another man said, if we strike tonight, we could cripple them. Neoa's heart started beating faster. Her father spoke calmly. We move at midnight. The men nodded. Neo stepped back quickly before they noticed her. Her mind raced. Midnight? They were going to attack. Her father wasn't just defending the mansion. He was going to war. Neo walked quietly back toward the staircase. She suddenly understood something important. Her father's world was dangerous. And tonight, that danger was about to explode across the city. Later that evening, the mansion was filled with preparation. Cars were being checked. Weapons were distributed. Men in suits moved with quiet focus. Neo stood near the window, watching it all. Her father entered the room a few minutes later. He noticed her expression immediately. You heard the meeting, he said calmly. Neo turned toward him. You're going to fight them. Yes. Tonight. Yes. Neo crossed her arms nervously. That sounds really dangerous. It is. Then why go? Kong Jae-min walked closer. Because if I don't stop them now, they will come here. Neo looked down at the floor. I don't want people getting hurt because of me. Her father gently lifted her chin so she would look at him. This isn't your fault. But they chose this path. His voice softened slightly. I'm simply ending it. Neo studied his face. She could see the determination in his eyes. Are you coming back? She asked quietly. Kong Jae-min didn't hesitate. Yes. She nodded slowly. Okay. He placed a hand on her shoulder. You'll stay here with Mrs. Han and the security team. Neo forced a small smile. I'll be fine. Outside, the sun began to set behind the trees. Darkness slowly covered the city. By the time midnight arrived, a convoy of black cars rolled out of the mansion gates. Inside the first car sat Kong Jae-min. His expression was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Tonight, he wasn't just a mafia boss protecting his territory. He was a father protecting his daughter. And somewhere deep in the city, inside a warehouse surrounded by armed men, the leader of the Black Vipers stood by a window looking at the skyline. A guard rushed inside. Boss, Kong Jae-min's forces are moving. The leader smiled slowly. Good. He picked up a knife from the table. I was hoping he'd come. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky again. The war that had been building for years was about to begin. Thank you for watching Air Nero Romance, where every story is unforgettable